Okay, we picked this up as the third, I think, of 3 videos that show you how to go from Excel into Revit through the back door of Inventor. I mostly show you this because I want to show you how to go from Excel into anything. And then realize that most of this data, that spatial data, can be expressed in X, Y, and Z coordinates that you can get into any coordinate system by any bit of translation, rotation, and scale. So I'm going to start a new project here, and I'm just going to show you that I'm going to bring in a step and an STPE file into a project to see that it does transfer. The pedigree on this information was that it was done with Excel and then frame generator. That kind of information is metadata, if you would think about it. Metadata, data about data. I'm going to go to level 1 here to bring this in. I'm going to go insert. I'm going to do a import CAD. Let's see if it will let me link CAD. Here, I'm going to link. Yeah, we're going to let it. Turns out the step file does not do it. The SAT file does. The link, which will then be severed when I go out, is going to be, because I don't have this local, I'm going to go out to my USB drive, and I'm going to go Excel to Revit. In this case, I'm going to do auto center to center. Let me not, because I did think about the origin to origin, auto. I'm going to hit open here, and I'm going to hope that comes in. This, once again, is really not so much a link because that step file was actually pushed out of Inventor. So it tells me it doesn't see anything because it was 3D information. I go to the 3D analytical, and there is my frame. And if you look at it, it's pretty much somewhat all there. Now, the depiction of line widths we can control now with VV, VG, somehow imported categories, imported families. I've got everything on layer 0. If I turn that off and hit apply, it's gone. And again, so it doesn't have all the richness, VV, VG, imported categories, turn that on, hit apply, okay. And so you have what's come in here is effectively the geometry, if you would. And the line width thicknesses, I think, is a setting that I'm not going to talk about right now. The goal here is not necessarily to get in here and master this, but then to figure out how to do the modeling and then work on getting a set of standards that work. So what was the process? Well, we started in Excel because most structures are first modeled by some sort of matrix of information, a link node. We did that basically earlier today at home. We went from Excel, or a conceptual sketch, which had nodes and links, eventually nodes and links and polygons. We took the Excel and we did an import into a 3D sketch in Inventor. We took that part and saved it, opened an assembly, went in and used frame generator. These are all very similar to Revit type things. We then just go ahead and did it. We did an export, and we exported it. Let's look at our links again to what kind of file? An SAT file. So not a step file, an SAT file. And there you have it. Now, just to see how this exports, we're going to go ahead and do File, Export. And again, part of what we've been talking about over time is this fascination, believe it or not, in this point of different CAD formats. I'm going to export. It does not allow me to export. Looking again, does not allow me to export, it looks like, to SketchUp. So we're going to see. Export CAD formats, DWF, reports, FBX, XML, that's probably one that we want to look at, ODBC, database, options, export, all these different bits. I'm going to go back to the top here to a drawing. We're going to export a drawing, and we're going to export a DWG file, hopefully as a 04. So we're going to go ahead and export the drawing. The drawing properties looks good to me. Export 3D views only. Export as polymesh. Export as solids. We'll go with polymesh. We're going to go ahead and hit export. We're going to put it the same spot, and we're going to do it in an AutoCAD 2004 out of habit. Export. All that's done. We could bring it into AutoCAD right now. Instead, we'll bring it into SketchUp in honor of all the renewable people. All right. Bring this into SketchUp. Start using SketchUp. Think about choosing our template or knowing any time in any program that you want to know what coordinates you've got. So I'm going to go here to Window, to Model Info, and making sure that my units are set. Everything was in inches, so I'm going to stay in inches. Now I'm going to do File, Import. Importing off of my flash drive. Realizing as you start running into huge files, that's probably not a bad way to do these things. My options I check. I'm going to preserve the drawing agent. The units I think are inches. I'm going to hit OK. Open, we'll see how that came in. And there it is. There's my frame. In SketchUp, when I go ahead and explode that, right click, explode. What you see, it came in, and it's coming in good data, but it actually is all data that's kind of not pushed through. So you lose a lot of these links. Thanks for listening. That's all the way through, from Excel to Inventor to Revit to AutoCAD or SketchUp. Realistically, all these programs, of course, have just direct inputs. SketchUp especially has an Excel pull-in. Thanks for listening.